Hello dear viewer and welcome to All for Siny. We have to reach 1 million signs per minute. In this episode we will scale up the Vulcanus and Fulgora bases. The best way to do so is with quality items. To ship them to all planets, I build a new space platform. It's a copy of my Strider Aquilo spaceship with mostly legendary items. And as you can see from the list, I don't have legendary foundries and big mining drills yet. In order to craft them, I build a simple tungsten ore upcycler. Legendary tungsten ore will then be transformed into legendary tungsten carbide. I also make legendary carbon in a cryogenic plant. You might ask, why not just send down the legendary carbon from my spaceship to Volcanus? Well, to be honest, I have so much legendary coal, it's not necessary. Crafting it in my mall just simplifies things. After crafting the first legendary big mining drills, I immediately use them for the tungsten ore outpost. Because of the insanely strong resource drain property. At legendary quality it's only 8%. Upcycling tungsten ore directly is not the most efficient way to get legendary tungsten carbide. But at mining productivity 76, resources here on Volcanus are basically endless. And speaking of resources, I have to kill more demolishers to gain access to another tungsten ore outpost. This one has 5.1 million. This is also the first time I want to use trains in this playthrough. Damn, I love trains. I wish I would be forced to use them more frequently in Space Age. Now that I farm more quality tungsten ore, I copied the tungsten ore upcycler 4 times. I also want to switch from my old 18x18 electrical grid to the new legendary grid with 28 tiles times 28. With the increased legendary tungsten ore production, I crafted legendary foundries. Using the new large grid, I want to completely refactor the legendary production mall. More storage space for the cargo landing pad, more rocket silos, and a more streamlined legendary mall. Refactoring the quality production alone isn't enough. I also have to produce way more science packs per minute. And since Volcanus is all about liquids, using a liquid main bus is very recommended. I'm using it to distribute liquids to the mall and to all other sub-factories. On this side of the base, I rebuilt the coal liquefaction sub-factory and oil processing. Molten copper and iron is produced down here. Legendary foundries and legendary speed modules allow me to produce round about 250,000 molten copper and iron per minute. I put some excess stone into these chests to make stone bricks. To produce enough electricity, I upgraded all turbines to legendary quality. That's 40 legendary turbines. Upgrading from normal to legendary is plus 150% bonus electricity. Additionally, there are a couple blocks of solar panels and accumulators. It's kind of crazy how small this base still is. Here I'm producing iron products, this is the circuit production, low density structures for rocket launchers. Here I'm making carbon and the plastic production. To make the Volcanus science pack, trains will unload tungsten and then the tungsten will go to the sub-factory for tungsten carbide. Carbon is coming in from the top and on the right side I'm making tungsten steel. Both tungsten products will then go to the Metallurgical science sub-factory. That's 12 legendary foundries. Based on rate calculator, the sub-factory will produce 9,000 signs per minute. Keep in mind that I don't have legendary productivity level 3 modules yet. If I'm not mistaken, I will reach close to 15k signs per minute when upgrading to legendary prod modules. What's also kind of ridiculous, this is still the starting coal patch on Volcanus. Similarly, this is the starting calcite patch, which has still close to 600,000 calcite left. With a resource drain of 8% and mining productivity plus 930%, this will last forever. I don't think there will ever be a need to mine another calcite patch. I kind of miss the old days where you actually had to create outposts and transport materials over long distances. Which is why I'm currently working on a balance mod called Avadi Rebalance. I want to make a video about it very soon. You can already find it on the official FACTORIO mod portal. Let's use rate calculator to see if I produce enough intermediate tungsten products. The production requires 14k tungsten carbide and 10k tungsten steel. And this is 7.2k and 13.9k, but I think I calculated with productivity level 3 modules in legendary quality in mind. Later on I can just copy paste these blocks to produce more science packs. Okay, I'm satisfied with this sweet little base, and now let's go to Fulgora. Solving Fulgora on a large scale is really tricky, which is why I spent quite some time in the editor, trying different methods to mass recycle scrap and process the ridiculous amounts of trash. Based on the problem solving aspect of the game, I think I like Fulgora the most. Once you figure it out, setting up a small base here on Fulgora with a sushi belt or with bots isn't really that hard, but scaling things up is really a new problem on its own. Before constructing the large blueprint I came up with, I first have to make legendary electromagnetic plants. I'm using this upcycler to get the job done. A couple of EM plants will craft normal electromagnetic plants, and then I will just recycle them. If the base accumulates too many resources of these qualities, or even legendary processing units and steel, I will just trash them in another recycler. The result of this upcycling is either legendary EM plants or legendary holmium. Legendary holmium will then be used to make legendary superconductors and also legendary supercapacitors. The reason I'm starting with upcycling is my blueprint requires legendary lightning collectors. Legendary holmium is not the only thing I need to construct my blueprint. I also need a lot of foundations. I decided to craft them on Akilo. Stone is the bottleneck for the foundation production. My Strider Akilo spaceship is picking up stone from Norvis, bringing it to Akilo. I also upgraded to legendary rocket silos, because you can only launch 50 foundations per rocket. Meanwhile on Norvis I set up the production of the productivity level 3 module in legendary quality. The upcycler requires a lot of level 1 and level 2 productivity modules. I then insert biter eggs directly from a captive biter spawner. I still use circuit logic to only insert an egg when all the intermediates are present. This chest will then request the normal productivity level 3 modules and then they get recycled. Every time a quality egg is produced, I will request it and then turn it into a module. If it doesn't turn into a legendary one, I will recycle it again. The decider combinator on the left is a clock. It will remove biter eggs every 20 minutes. This will prevent them from hatching. Initially, I just pasted the blueprint into the oil ocean. But it became evident very quickly that I don't have enough foundations. It would take hours to assemble them. So let's deconstruct the blueprint and then paste it onto the ocean without the foundations. Meanwhile on Volcanus I depleted the first tungsten patch, but that's not a problem at all, because I already have an expansion. The next task is making legendary stack inserters, because the blueprint relies on them. They have to be made on Gaba, where I tried to get legendary carbon fiber. The upcycler was way too small to get a reasonable amount of inserters per time frame. Which is why I had to upgrade more biochambers trying to craft quality carbon fiber, and a huge upcycler to turn jelly nuts into legendary jelly. The carbon fiber will also be upcycled with the tool belt equipment recipe. The reason it's very efficient is because you can process 10 carbon fiber per craft. Legendary carbon fiber and legendary jelly will then be combined into a legendary stack inserter. Eventually I was able to nearly complete the blueprint. There are only productivity modules missing and 4 rocket silos. Okay, let's connect these belts and see if it works. I have 4 of these blocks to turn scrap into the 12 initial products. I will then filter out concrete, steel and gears. A bunch of splitters will then filter out the useful items like iron, solid fuel, ice, stone, holmium ore and batteries. Further on the right I will then recycle blue chips, red chips, low density structures and copper cables. The resulting copper, plastic and green circuits will then also be filtered out. This is not a loop. Everything that reaches the right side of this blueprint will be recycled and destroyed. In the middle and upper half of this blueprint I will then turn all of these materials into science packs. Supporters on Patreon will be able to download this blueprint and also the save game to see and play with it for themselves. Finally, I have 12 legendary rocket silos to launch the science packs into space. At this level of mining productivity, 8 big mining drills will fill 4 stacked turbo belts easily. The old island with the initial science pack production is completely empty now. There's still 29 million scrap left. And the smaller island that I'm mining right now has 27 million. Rocket silos cannot be transported with spaceships, which is why I make them locally. To supply this factory with enough electricity, I use a ridiculous amount of legendary accumulators. But I'm pretty sure if I reach peak production, this won't be enough. There also needs to be a mall on Fulgora to make Fulgora-specific items like electromagnetic plants and recyclers, but also defensive weapons like Tesla turrets. These 4 rocket silos with automatic requests from space are supposed to launch these products into space. To get the required legendary intermediate items, I will just request them from my spaceship. The upcycler to make legendary electromagnetic plants and holmium has been relocated as well. Legendary Tesla turrets will be very important to expand the Gaba base. There's one thing I didn't think about. I have to buffer a large amount of electromagnetic science packs in chests. I split the rocket silos into 3 groups, and this 1-to-3 balancer will distribute the items evenly. If a space platform requests science packs, I can then refill these rocket silos way faster. And then launch 12 rockets immediately again. It's kind of funny though that this blueprint has the same science per minute rate as this one. Before leaving to Gaba, I want to upgrade my engineer's armor. On Volcanus, I'm crafting Power Armor Mark II in legendary quality. After sending the legendary Power Armor to Fulgora, I can just take it out of the cargo landing pad. And then use my mall blueprint to craft the legendary mech armor. And there it is, legendary mech armor. Amazing. Let's use it. Now that I have legendary mech armor, I want to leave Fulgora and go back to Vulcanus to craft equipment. I already made quite a lot of legendary batteries, and now I'm working on shields, roboports and belt immunity equipment. And this is what my equipment grid looks like before departing to Gaba. Hello dear Gaba, my beloved planet. Finally I'm back. And in the next episode it will be my job to create a sub-factory making 10 to 15,000 agricultural science packs per minute. I can't wait. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and see you next time. Bye.